I'm here with varsity basketball coach Charles Bennett at Morris Pollard Gymnasium at Speedway High School, Speedway, Indiana, for tonight's contest between our Speedway Sparkplugs and the visitors from Greenfield Central, the Cougars. Coach, let's talk first of all, 2-2 on the season, 4 games in. I know the leading scorer, Drew Valentine, didn't play in 2 of those 4s, but if you could sum up those 4 games, what would you say?
Well, first of all, I think it's just great that we've been able to play 4 games. I think that every day we walk into practice, we truly do wonder if this is going to be our last practice or our last game. So getting to play 4 games is great. It's also been with our, I have a tremendous staff of assistants, but our practices have been great as well. I mean, that's a tribute to our staff, but then also to our kids. They've made it really enjoyable to show up each day. And I think we've also made some improvement just in the time that we've been out since November 9th. You did mention we played a couple of games without Drew Valentine and Jackson Smith, but I think we've used that to our advantage to say, okay, how can that make us better? So take something that's some type of adversity and make it better. So I think it's only going to help us in the long run. And so after 2-2, look at the record, great, but I'm more concerned with the fact that we've been working hard, we're getting better. And in a long season like basketball, I mean, we still have basically half of December, January, February, and then into March. So we're still, 4 months into it. If we can keep up this effort and intensity, we're going to only get better when March rolls around.
I talked to one of my old coaching partners, Mr. Jim Crumley, this morning about the game. He watches it from home. And I asked him what his thoughts were, and the first thing he said was, Coach Bennett's kids get after him on defense, and I really like that. And you got to be not only proud of him saying that, proud of the way up to this point your kids have challenged other people defensively.
Well, that's something we hang our hat on. I've always done that. Always said the DWC defense wins championships, but that even goes back to you played for Morris Pollard. Defensively, you guys had the matchup zone, and if you can play defense that can overcome a multitude of maybe a bad shooting night. You don't want to shoot too bad, though, because you still got to make shots. But and then if you're going to go on the road and win tournament basketball, since we don't host a sectional, regional, semi-state, defense always travels. So, but that's also a tribute, again, to our kids buying in. And then with our assistants, we also do practices where we break down defensive drills. And Mr. Murley actually found a little stat about how many closeouts we would do in the course of a year if we average this many. And each player does about 5,000 closeouts on an average year. So when we break down that part of the defense, we work real hard on that too. So again, our kids have done a great job of buying into that.
Talk a little bit about the relationship you have with Greenfield Central coach Luke Meredith.
Yeah, Luke Meredith, he played for me when I was at Beech Grove Middle School, probably around 1995, 96, 7th, 8th grade basketball. I had him in 8th grade U.S. history. He's in a really good group of kids as well, but he and I just kind of maintain a relationship. You get those few as you go along. Coach, all kids are special, but he stayed in touch with myself. He's worked his way up through the ranks. He was a varsity assistant at Avon. He was also a junior high coach. He worked his way up, and I can still remember when he got this first job. He was so excited, and then also too, and you've experienced this, but he invited my wife and I to his wedding, so I went to his wedding, and you get that kind of honor. And he is from a great family. His mom and dad were great at Beech Grove. His sisters, actually, I had her in class too. She's 3 years older than he is, and she's a director of special ed down in East Central Schools. So to share that, and half the fun is watching your kids play, but then also if you can coach against quality people, and you're going to see his kids play extremely hard as well, and so that's always fun too.
Well, I talked to him privately down there just a minute ago, and I told him that I had played for Morris Pollard here at Speedway and got corrected and chewed on a lot, and it was a source of pride for me. And he said he felt the same way, and he paid a great compliment to you. He said, I'm a better man today because of the way Coach Bennett got on me when I should have been gotten on, and so on. And I think it's a little different today, and in that I don't know that you could do that today. I did when I coached here in the 80s, but I do feel like I'm a better man because of Coach Pollard getting on me more than anybody else, and I got on you when you played for me more than anybody else, and I'd hope you could say the same, but he certainly felt like he's a better man and a better coach today because there was discipline and corrections and so on by coaches, so kudos to you. Let's talk real quick about Greenfield Central.
Okay, and I'll just say one thing about that too. We've told our kids this year, we have a good group again because we can get on. We told them we wanted to be coachable, but we said you got to have a thick skin and a short memory. And we get as fired up in the game as they do. So if we say something, we'll correct it on film later on. But they've done a really good job of realizing, hey, it's almost like having your own son. And I've said it before about all the players. But you can rip your own son and then turn around and give him a big hug. And so our kids have been good about that. But yeah, tonight's game, I think it's going to be another battle. I'm looking forward to Reese Walker, who did a great job last night playing defense. But he's gonna draw who I think their best players, Dylan Moles, who's a sophomore, very good player, can shoot from anywhere. And I'm looking forward to Reese having a little battle with him. But then they also have another little guard, a junior named Gavin Robertson. I like those two guys out on top, and they play really hard. And then they've got a couple of nice seniors that wear 23 and 24. They look like they could almost be twins. They aren't, but similar games, scrappy. And obviously, like I said, their kids play hard. They're going to 1-2-2 press us a little bit, three-quarter court. It's nothing that's really, what I would say, real tough to I mean, they're not coming to trap, but just kind of slow us down a little bit, and then they play a 3-2 zone, which is really the first time we've seen that this year. So I'll be interested to see how our kids attack that and see how we can, adjust, I guess, from playing teams that basically played all man so far.
Well, I know that last night we commented up here during the game about Reese Walker was not as big in the scoring column last night as he has been in some other games, but he really worked hard last night defensively. Not that others didn't, but he drew the tough assignment. It sounds like he has another tough assignment tonight.
Yep.
So, well, good luck.
Okay, thank you.
This is the first time Greenfield Central has been here, and we look forward to hosting them, and to you Greenfield fans out there after tonight anyway. Good luck the rest of the season.
That's right.
We will be back with the start of tonight's game.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pollard Gymnasium for tonight's game between the Sparkplugs and the Cougars of Greenfield Central High School. Halftime of the JV game, the Plugs are down 16-8. Really happy tonight to be joined up here with Town of Speedway Superintendent Kyle Trebley. Kyle, I was thinking the other day, in any business or whatever you go to, you always have plans, and there's a saying that says, if plan A doesn't work, there's 25 more letters. And right now, I think probably if you're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and you're climbing up the steps, we're probably around road double R by now with all the changes we've had
double R
throughout the year. It has to be a very, very extremely challenging year. I want to go over a lot of things tonight that I don't know about as I was sitting at home thinking, because I'm not here other than doing games at night. And maybe our parents don't know some of these things, or maybe people that don't have kids in school. Let's start a little bit, obviously, with the elephant in the room for this year with the COVID. And talk to us about your communication with people downtown, the decisions you have to make regarding what type of instruction our school is going to be going with at different times.
Well, Ron, it's good to be here. It's good to see sports going on and basketball games, and I know a lot of people are excited about the holidays. Mm-hmm. But I think we got to start back in January of 2020, where I think most people were hoping that the Patriots weren't going to win the Super Bowl again, and this new team, the Kansas City Chiefs, were doing what they were doing. And you remember Tennessee Titans having the run in the football world, and absolutely, how are the Pacers going to be? And we just had all those things going on. Really good state championship tournament for boys basketball. Yeah. If you remember, the Lawrences and all them,
Right.
and Warren Centrals and in 2A1, all of it. Just a lot of good things in January. And then February hit, and I'll never forget March 13th, 2020.
It's a Friday.
And that was the Friday that we made the announcement. What people don't know is that 2 days before that, we really started getting information from a lady by the name of Dr. Kane in the Marion County Public Health Department, Mayor Hogsett, and our world turned upside down quickly. Bottom line is we had very little time, and we were told that we had to go to the moon in a rowboat in about 24 hours. So if it's kind of hard to get to the moon in a rowboat, kind of need a spaceship, and we didn't have one.
Correct.
So we were told on a Friday, and we had to do a lot of things for the school town of Speedway to get at least through that period of time. And if you remember right, we really didn't know how long that was going to happen. How long are we going to be out? We didn't know ourselves.
Right.
They didn't know. We know a lot more now than what we knew then. But we got through it. And once again, we navigated through our administrators and our teachers in the community, from our lunch ladies to our maintenance and custodians, bless all their hearts. We got through that period of time. Were we happy about it? No, but we got through that time. And basically about once a week, once every 2 weeks, we talked to Dr. Kane, and there were some updates in the spring, and eventually we got close to graduation, and everybody was just going to go, what are we going to do?
Right.
Of course, at that point in time, we knew we were closed, and thank goodness thank you Roger Penske, Doug Bowles, and Mark Miles. They swooped in and saved the day for the Speedway Sparkplugs, and we had graduation at the end of May, and we graduated the class of 2020 at that point in time. And just very grateful. The school board of trustees and myself and just administration, we have such a great partnership.
It was a
with
great
the community.
day. That was a great day.
So then you pause through the summer, and about every day it changed a little bit. So after talking to 11 other Marion County superintendents every day, everyone's doing something a little different. Everyone has a different story. We decided that we wanted to make sure we weren't going to yo-yo parents. We didn't want to necessarily, and with the support of the school board, we didn't want to say one thing, then pull back and keep going back and forth. And if you could kind of fall through the summer, we were probably the one school corporation that we kind of paused longer than anybody else, because we wanted to have the facts. We wanted to tell our parents one thing and not have to change back and forth. And now that I look back, I think it was a pretty good decision, because we've been in school. This is my favorite part.
Sure.
I get to throw data at you. We've been in school for 72 days of in-person learning, elementary, junior high, and the high school. So please ask me a question what the other schools, where are they at? What's the comparison, right?
Yeah.
72. I have 2 or 3 different school corporations. Their schools have been in for 9 days total. 28 days total, 21 days total, 20 days total, 25. Those are corporations around us, and we're sitting at 72 right now in-person learning days. And we all know that the trick, it's not a trick at all, how we get to where we are is great instruction, great teacher, and small class sizes, and we're still able to do that. So I'm very proud where we are right now. We got back into school. We've gone 72 days. We have our 72 days. We're in virtual right now, and we just came out with a new news release from the most updated information. So if you're not listening to me yet, this is an important part.
Right.
We are virtual through the rest of this semester. We're going to come back on Monday, January 4th, and do a professional development day with our teachers, which we always do that. It's on the calendar. Tuesday through Friday of January 5th through the 8th, we're doing virtual learning. We're going to have meal packets. We're over 70,000 meal packets going out to the community.
Wow.
Way over that.
Right.
I predict we'll probably be over 100,000 before the end of this whole thing.
Right.
Virtual learning. So we're doing January 5th through the 8th, virtual learning. We'll have meal packs on 1/5, which is a Tuesday, and then Friday, the 8th. And then we're going to come back on Monday, January 11th, K through 12, in person, still with a virtual option if parents don't feel comfortable.
Sure.
We get that. We respect that. But we're going to go in person again, and that resumes again on January 11th.
Okay.
And here's the great part of that. We believe that we'll have more data after the holiday season, after Christmas the 25th on a Friday. Give us about 5, 7, 10 days, and we'll see if our numbers, if we have enough staff. The adults are the problem here. Do we have enough adults healthy to come teach? And if we have enough staff, we'll be back on January 11th.
Okay.
So that's hey,
sure,
that's
up to
back
date.
from January all the way to now.
Yeah, I remember very well that last day I was here, and that was, as you said, going home, it was like no one knew what was going on, and it was very difficult. Just a couple of scenarios that I'm not really sure. Let's say Johnny's in the 5th grade, and he goes home and his dad has been tested positive. What's the protocol for that child and maybe anybody else that he knows?
Yeah, our lead person again is John Disney, or first of all, it's John Disney, he's assistant superintendent. He runs all the protocols for the COVID. We have a 1-point person there. After he gets information, he'll talk to me about it and we'll make decisions. But that's the tricky part because you have situations all over. So for that one, if the family contacts us or if they contact the teacher, they all take that information and send it to Mr. Disney.
Okay.
And then Mr. Disney will do an investigation on that situation, see who's been around who,
right.
and talk to the Marion County Health Department. It's a collaboration, it really is.
Right.
And once we report those numbers, that's the numbers we get on that one. So it's a lot of trust, and
Sure.
people in this community have done a great job.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories that aren't so great around us, but for the most part, Speedway's has done a tremendous job for that, especially in the schools. Safest place for kids to be from the data is in school because we have masks on, social distancing, following the protocols. It's been a great thing for us.
Completely agree. I know before
that
before the school year started, you and Mr. Disney did a little video I saw, I think through the cable channel here, and it was like 20 minutes, but it was really informative. I mean, you walked through several schools. I have not been through the building other than to the gym. Talk a little bit about daily routines, things that have changed, just a few that look different than they did last December.
Well, we're lucky with Speedway having big buildings and small class sizes. We were able to have a waiver to allow all kids to come into the high school and the elementaries to maintain the social distancing. But a lot of things that you see, of course, all the kids with masks on, it's hard to teach. It's hard to do this interview with a mask on, as this is the most I've talked with a mask on one-on-one here. So our teachers doing it 6 hours a day when we had students here is really tremendous on what they did. But our kids are walking on the right side, and we always taught that, but we didn't have lines marked.
Correct.
And and there's places that you can only go to the bath. There's places we clean and monitor those things.
Right.
We have staggered bell schedules in some buildings. I mean, there's just a lot of little things that our administration has done a tremendous job on doing to keep it as safe and keep the kids apart from each other.
Sure. I want to give major kudos to staff, to custodial staff, to anybody here. I've seen teachers give up their day to come to distribute Chromebooks. I've seen them give up their day to come to collect them. I've seen elementary teachers take packets to students' homes and apartments that could not afford to get here or couldn't. Our staff has been incredible. All support staff has been incredible. Well, let's move on just a little bit, and there's a lot of other good things happening. Talk about some of the summer projects that we had going on.
Mr. Disney and I didn't win any awards on the video we did at the beginning of the year, so I don't know if anybody wanted more of that, but we aren't those guys, but we did our best. So let me just put it that way.
It was good. It was very informative.
It was a lot of things just trying to share, and everyone wants to know all the answers, and I want to tell them, please be patient, because we don't have all the answers either.
Right.
We have to wait for the right time to do that. So
Sure.
People have done a good job. Let's talk about some projects. We're very proud right now of Newbie Elementary is up and running. It came under budget. That doesn't happen very often.
No, it's not.
Under budget. We were, for the most part, on time, and we have 5 new classrooms, student bathrooms, staff bathrooms, and the kicker on this, they have a brand new chiller, an AC unit now for Newbie Elementary. The whole mechanic room has been, the old is out, there's new parts in for the mechanic room, security doors. We had LED lights for it a few years ago, so the building's looking pretty good.
Good.
And we're still, our numbers with all this going on, we were pretty jam-packed about 240 kids, and we're still about 233, and we're down numbers just because of the pandemic. So we feel pretty good where we're at right now.
Good.
And we got a good group of teachers there, like everywhere, and we're very proud of that. But now all of our 3 standalone elementaries, Newby, Allison, and Wheeler, all have new air conditioners. And if you're like, I wonder how long an air conditioner, about 25 years. So they were all out at the same time, so we got those replaced. All 3 of the standalones have 3 security system doors now in all 3 buildings. Like I said, and the new thing here in the high school is our new air conditioner unit here in the high school gym. And that went better than planned. Because of the pandemic and we didn't have school, we were able to get them in early. We finished before time, and we were way under budget on that one for this whole project on that. So when I say way under, we were under, which I'm very happy about that. Try to save where we can. And so we're pretty happy where we're at right now with just trying to chug along, and we still have old buildings. You know, 1962 this building was put up, and first class is 63. So we, 60 years, we got some years in this place. I'm just proud of our custodians, our maintenance staff.
They've done an amazing job through all this.
They have. So, and it's been interesting in the last few months too, as we have to do extra, and they've done a nice job.
I know in the fall, the high school was excited to learn that they were named the National Blue Ribbon School, and I know anytime you win a basketball game or a championship, it's that year, but it also depends on what's being taught at the freshman level and the 8th grade level. But what a great accomplishment for the high school and the whole school system to be named a Blue Ribbon recipient.
Right, a National Blue Ribbon School. And you're thinking, well, they probably give how many of these out? Well, they gave out 2 this last year. And the year before, I believe 0 in Indiana, 1 the year before. So you really have to be top in the state and academically. And let me just share with you, in 2009, I wasn't here. I think you were, though. In 2009, we had 3 AP classes. 2019, we have in 2019, we have 19 AP classes. We had 11 students with a passing score that first year, which is a good number. I was a principal somewhere else. We would love to have 11 kids. All right. Last year, we had 165 kids that passed the test. And those kids take more than 1 test. We had 329 tests passed, and those are straight college credits. For that kid and that family, that Speedway, and again, they get $100 for passing the test. On top of that, they get to take those credits with them. Tremendous. So this National Blue Ribbon School, and very proud of our whole population of our high school. We basically force kids to take classes that are rigorous. We all students, and very proud of our staff here to get the numbers that we have right now. So we're very proud of that. We usually, in the past, a National Blue Ribbon recipient would fly to DC, but I don't think we're doing any of that. They've canceled all the awards. We're eventually going to get some banners, and we do have a lot of things that we're going to roll out here soon. So very proud of that. But it starts in kindergarten. It starts with the elementary students and teachers and the community, and it's the buy-in that, education's important. And people make it important, and it's a key to what we do and successful here across the board. So it's the elementary, it's the junior high, it's the high school.
One last time, would you just repeat the schedule coming back? I know it was changed. You mentioned it earlier, but hopefully it won't change again, but the return to school in January, if you would, just so people can keep up on date on that.
Absolutely. We will stay virtual until January 8th. So the schedule's going to stay the same. And then January 11th, Monday, January 11th of 2021, we'll start in person.
Well, hey, thanks a lot for taking time out. I know you guys spend a lot of hours here in maintaining and organizing and planning, and it's been as good as it can be. Probably it's not perfect. It never will be perfect. But we're making things happen in a positive manner. So, once again, thanks a lot for coming up and being with us, and good luck the rest of the year and everything in the world has been going on.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We will be back in just a little bit with the introduction of the players and the lineups for tonight's varsity game.
Good evening, basketball fans. Once again, I'm Tom Smith, Ron Probst, my partner, both of us former varsity basketball coaches here at Speedway High School, and we're here at Morris Pollard Gymnasium to bring you the Greenfield Central Speedway High School boys basketball game tonight. Let's talk first about starting lineups for Greenfield Central. At one guard, number 2, Gavin Robertson, a 6-foot junior, averaging 14 points a game. He's their leading scorer. The guy that makes them go, according to their own coach, Luke Meredith, and our coach, Chuck Bennett, is Dylan Knowles, a 6'1 sophomore, averaging 12 points a game. He's their point guard. Number 10 is their center, Joey Rowland, a 6-foot senior. At one forward is Adam Lester, a junior, the third leading scorer at 10 points a game. And rounding out the starting lineup for the Cougars is Will Van Dyne, number 24, a 6'1 senior. Once again, they're coached by Luke Meredith. The record is 2-2 on the season. For Speedway Sparkplugs starting lineup, the same as it was last night. First of all, number 3, Carson Harrison, a 6-foot senior guard. Jacob Wachter, number 22, 5'11 senior, will be at one forward. Reese Walker, number 24, a 5'9 junior, will draw the assignment of guarding Dylan Knowles tonight. He's a 5'9 junior, again 24, Reese Walker. 30, Nate Metallic is a 6'3 sophomore forward. And rounding out the starting lineup for the Sparkplugs, number 32, Drew Valentine, their leading scorer, who had 19 last night, 21 the first night of the season, and then missed 2 games in the middle because of contact tracing, of which the Sparkplugs lost both games. He is a 5'8 senior. Sparkplugs are coached by Charles Bennett. Their record is also 2-2. They opened up with a win over North Montgomery. Then 2 players had to sit the next 2 games due to contact tracing. They lost both of those games to Beech Grove and to University, and then won 52-44 last night in a game that they began the start of the game trailing and ended up getting ahead and staying ahead then most of the game. Coach, tell us a little bit about Greenfield Central.
Well, I think it's only the second year we played Greenfield. We have a lot of teams on our schedule that we played many, many years, but only the second year we played Greenfield Central. As you said, it's a 4A school. I think we have 3 4A schools on our schedule. They have wins over over Hagerstown and Triton Central. Losses to Guerin and New Pal. Just a little bit about Greenfield. I might run out of time here, but a lot of people probably don't know, east of town. Member of the Hoosier Heritage Conference with Delta, New Pal, Mount Vernon, Newcastle, Pendleton Heights, Shelbyville, and Yorktown. Which I've always thought was a really good athletic conference. They're good in a lot of different sports. Sectional includes 3 of the old North Central Conference schools, Muncie Central, Richmond, and Anderson. So it's a school, obviously 4A, playing a 4A schedule. Over the years, haven't had a tremendous amount of success. They have won 7 sectionals, but only one since class basketball. I believe it was the first year in 1998. But in just a little bit, we'll talk about maybe the best player in the history of Greenfield Central, played in 1969, and just some interesting statistics on him.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise as we
We'll now have the national anthem.
with the playing of our national anthem.
just real quickly, Tom, circling back to best player in the history of Greenfield Central, graduated in 1969. His name is Mike Edwards.
I could have given that if I was a trivia question.
Well, and I actually saw him play. We had some friends that lived in Greenfield. In his high school career, he scored over 2,300 points. His senior year averaged 36 points a game. Was recruited by some teams. It was the same year that Indiana signed McGinnis and Downing, so they probably weren't going to sign him. But anyway, he had nowhere to go, and Ray Mears, who was the coach at Tennessee at the time, he was there for a long time, was giving a clinic at Ball State. And Greenfield Central was the demonstrative team, and he had heard about him, and he told Mike Edwards to go in the corner, shoot a couple jump shots. Had never seen him play, shot a couple jump shots, signed him. Full ride to Tennessee, was Southeastern Conference Player of the Year in 1972, so probably the most celebrated basketball player, not probably, the most celebrated basketball player in the history of Greenfield. But they've had a lot of struggling years. But they were 12-12 last year, as I said, and kind of a new lease. And you'll probably allude to the relationship between their coach and coach.
It was his coach when he was a middle schooler, and I can tell you they have a mutual respect for one another, as a player and coach relationship does sometimes. I know Luke told me before the game that he's a better man today for having played for Chuck Bennett at Beech Grove many years ago. So once again, number 2, Gavin Robertson. Number 3, Dylan Knowles. Number 10, Joey Rowland. Number 23, Adam Lester. 24 is Will Van Dyne. And for your spark plugs, Carson Harrison, number 3, Jacob Wachter, 22, Reese Walker, 24, Nate Metallic, 30, and Drew Valentine, number 32 for the spark plug. So offensive players to watch on the 3 teams for Greenfield Central. Number 2, Gavin Robinson, 3, Dylan Knowles, and the 3rd leading scorer, 23, Adam Lester. For the spark plugs, Carson Harrison, number 3, Nate Metallic, number 30, and number 32, Drew Valentine for the spark plugs. And as always happens, somebody other than those will end up having a great game, because that's high school basketball in the state of Indiana. Opening tip, Reese Walker, the plugs, comes up with the ball. Three-two zone for the Cougars. Coach Charles Bennett, when I talked to him prior to the game, said this will be the first game we played against a team that is primarily a zone team. All the first 4 games have all been against teams that were primarily man-to-man defensive team. Speedway will play a man-to-man. Sparkplugs patient on this first possession. Carson Harrison with 3 out of the corner. A little bit long. Ball retrieved by the Cougars. I said earlier Van Dyne, I believe it's Van Doon. And that's a charge. Nate Metallic will inbound it for the plugs. 1-2-2, 3/4 court press for the Cougars. I think Metallic thought Reese Walker was going to continue running toward the basket on that pass. .23, a field goal by Adam Lester to open up the scoring. Metallic to Valentine. Drew Valentine in 3-point shot attempt, no good. Tip up by Jacob Wachter. Keeps it alive. Once again, a zone defense for the Cougars.
Probably the reason for the zone defense is with the schedule that they play, larger schools probably going to be outmanned in a lot of the games. Not that that matters a lot, but gives them a chance to be able to compete on even terms with many of the teams on the schedule.
I remember when Coach Bennett was a senior at Speedway on the team I was coaching, who played North Central in the county. They were 6'8", 6'7", 6'7" across the front lines. So we played our zone defense and pretty much let their guards shoot, and they hit 10 threes. Steve Kaufman, the coach at North Central at the time, said it messed up the whole season because his guards then thought they were supposed to score all the time.
30 seconds timeout taken by Speedway.
So Sparkplugs take a timeout, a 30-second timeout, 5:22 remaining in this first quarter with a score. Greenfield Central 2 on a basket by Adam Lester. The Sparkplugs have yet to score.
I made a reference earlier to some of the teams in their sectional with a North Central Conference background, Muncie and Richmond and Anderson, and what a conference that used to be. In the 70s and the 80s, before a lot of the unemployment issues hit some of these cities. But I was at a clinic one time, and I believe it was Eddie Sutton, I'm not certain, but he had a trivia question for the crowd. And the question was, name the top 7 conferences in the country and the attendance at their games. And of course, everybody's guessing Big Ten, SEC, and no one could guess the last conference. It happened to be the North Central Conference High School in Indiana with some huge gyms.
Nate Metallic with a short jumper, no good. Dylan Knowles that last basket for Greenfield Central. Got a legal screen called on number 2, Gavin Robertson.
Cougars number 2, Gavin Robertson.
Carson Harrison, 3 out of the corner, no good.
It's going to be a challenge, as you mentioned earlier. The first, basically, all zone team that we've seen. You can't completely rely on your outside shooting. If it's going down, fantastic. But we're going to have to be able to get the ball inside. And I know when we get to this end, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But one area we like to try to attack is called the short corner. And if we can get the ball into that area, we're going to be able to get ourselves some good shots.
Steal by the Sparkplugs. Drew Valentine on the dribble. Reese Walker.
The short corners are located, Tom, right around where the S is and the A. Big basket.
Good pass for field goal by Jacob Wachter, and he's going to go to the free throw line. Fouls on number 10, Joy Rowland. Basket good by Jacob Wachter. Wachter misses the free throw.
I think that was the alternative, 2 things. Number 1 would have been a foul. Number 2, give them the ball. So I think we got the better end of it.
Yes. Another steal by the Sparkplugs. Carson Harrison takes it in, misses the shot, and that's going to be Greenfield Central's ball. Four to 2. 2:45 left in this first quarter, so a low scoring affair.
Good defense. Great defense. Good on the ball defense, good help.
Yes. You Greenfield Central fans that may be watching, Speedway's staple defense is the man-to-man that you will see, my guess would be, a lot of the time. Don't have a true center in there. Reese Walker with a three-point shot, no good.
Good pass.
Reese Walker with a nice pass to Jacob Wachter, and he scores his 4th point, and it's 4-4. 1:30 remaining in this first quarter. We got a jump ball. Into the ball game for the Cougars, number 4, Rashawn Street. For the Sparkplugs, number 20, Evan Owens. I believe Luke Merida is correct. I believe it was
I do
tipped
too.
by the Sparkplugs. I think
So one thing that COVID has done, not only games here, but also the games on TV, boy, you can hear everything that's being said.
Nate Metallic with the three-point shot attempt. Cale Bennett also into the lineup for the Sparkplugs. Dylan Knowles with the ball out front, guarded by Reese Walker. Short on a three-point shot. .30 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Nate Metallic for 3, and it's good. Sparkplugs take their first lead at 7-4. First quarter ends with the score: Speedway 7, Greenfield Central 4.
Real competitive first quarter. It's not going to take very long to go over the scoring for that quarter. Cougars jumped out to 4-0 lead, and since then the Plugs have scored 7 in a row. Just from the first quarter, I really anticipate seeing a really competitive basketball game. Right? I like how both teams play. They're both playing hard, different styles. I think we probably would like to see the game sped up a little bit more, speeded up a little bit more. But the Cougars are doing a nice job of taking care of the basketball.
Once again, one team playing a zone, the other team playing man-to-man. 4 straight points for the Cougars to start the game with field goals by Dylan Knowles, Adam Lester. The Plugs came back with 4 straight points from Jacob Wachter, and then a three-pointer by Nate Metallic as the quarter was closing down for the 7-4 lead. One of the lowest scoring first quarters in a game I can remember in a long time, but it wasn't due to lack of effort.
Cougars are on the year averaging 58 a game, Speedway 51, so well under average for both. But it's kind of like in baseball. Sometimes the 1-0 games and the 2-1 games, for me, nice cut, are just as exciting as the 10-9 games.
Cale Bennett with the last shot for the Sparkplugs. We got an offensive foul on 23, Adam Lester. That's his first foul.
It's the second charge we've taken down in the same area.
Fourth foul on the Cougars. Evan Owens out of the corner for three, no good. Gavin Robertson on the dribble. And we got a travel on Adam Lester. Into the game for the Cougars, number 24. Back into the game, I should say, Will Van Doon. Walker returns, replacing Evan Owens. So for the Sparkplugs, Cale Bennett, Nate Metallic, Devin Valentine, Jacob Walker, and Carson Harrison. Lazy pass along the sideline is going to turn the ball over, and we got a foul on Drew Valentine, his first. Need to put some more zip on that pass, coach.
Yeah.
Knowles with the ball. Gavin Robertson. Will Van Doon. Back to Robertson. He takes it all the way to the
Nice
basket.
drive. Very nice
He is
drive.
Fouled, and there's going to be a foul on Jacob Walker.
The lane cleared out, and
Nice drive by Gavin Robertson, a 6-foot junior averaging 14 a game. Once again, he's our leading scorer. Into the game for Cougars is Caleb McIntyre, 6'4" senior, number 34. Gavin Robinson hits his free throw, and we've got a tie score. Sparkplug ball on the sideline. Valentine before the shot. That was on Rashawn Street, his first. The spark plug ball out of bounds underneath the basket. Penetration by Nate Metallic. Spark plug ball out of bounds after the missed shot. Ball goes out of bounds over the spark plugs. Underneath the basket, Drew Valentine will inbound it. Now it looks like more 2-3 zone, coach, than the 1-2-2 or 3-2 they were playing.
Switching that back and forth. Kind of interesting right here, Drew Valentine was doing the posting up for us. We're really struggling, Tom, on getting through their pressure. Haven't figured their zones out at all. But still was able to keep in the game 7-7. I think that was right. Just haven't. But again, we've talked several times. This is what you want to see early in the year. You don't want to be surprised the last game of the year by something that.
Seen 4 man-to-man, pretty much man-to-man teams up to this point. Caleb McIntyre with the ball out front.
What we got going on right here is a good old-fashioned chess match.
24 trying to push his way through a screen. That's Will Van Doon, his second.
Meredith doesn't agree with the call, but whoever's there first has, yeah, whoever's there first has, that's their spot. And it's a good play by Nate. Nice drive.
Good drive. Reese Walker missed the layup, but the ball's thrown away by the Cougars, and Sparkplugs will get the ball back. Adam Lester back in. Placing Will Van Doon.
Tommy, talk about the open areas. It's a 3-2 right now. Open area, look at the middle of the floor. If you look around the free throw line, that's where we got to get the ball. Nice steal
by Rashawn Street.
Good steal.
He hits the layup.
Good timeout. You mentioned they're switching up defenses, 2-3, but the 3-2, the open areas are right in the middle and on the baseline. And we're not doing a very good job right now of getting the ball in the middle. That's where you're going to get your three-point shots, inside out.
That's exactly right.
And we're trying to get our three-point shots off moving around the perimeter.
From the old days in high school in the 60s and 70s around here, Morris Pollard believed if you got the ball where you're talking about, in the middle free throw line extended halfway to the basket, that you ought to score 60 to 70% of the time. Not necessarily the guy that received the pass, but either he or then kicking it back outside for an open jump shot should lead to scoring. We haven't had anybody get in there and do productive things when we did get it in there.
And at the same time, when you're in, when you're flashing to that spot, you've got to work hard to call for the ball.
Absolutely.
Tom, I had a tall player one time, not here at Speedway, one of the previous schools, and he would complain once in a while that he's not getting open. We'd show him film, but he wasn't working hard, so we put on one hand, I'm, on the other hand we wrote open. So the players were instructed during practice, unless you see his hands, I'm open, but it forced him to show his hands in those situations. It really helped him as a player.
Greenfield Central does a good job defensively. Not many open shots there, no matter what we're doing. And I envisioned when I knew we were going to see there's exactly what we were talking about. Get it inside and then back outside. Didn't work that time, but that's the recipe for success, I think, against zone defenses. .3:15 remaining in this first half. A low-scoring affair at 9-7, Greenfield Central. Sean Street for three, misses.
Nice follow.
Put back, no good. Plugs come away with it with Reese Walker.
Tom, there's something I love to see on a Greenfield Central's part. So many times when players are dribbling down on a fast break, you can get behind them and tip that ball away. And it's just one of those little skills that it's a hustle play.
Drew Valentine with a three-pointer from the corner is no good. Drew Valentine with a block at the other end. Nate Metallic takes it all the way to the basket for his 5th point on the night. And we've got a tie score.
We can blame the low score on some turnovers and missed shots. At the same time, both teams playing really good defense. There we go.
Drew Valentine for his first field goal. Sparkplug leading scorer, averaging 20 a game, his first 2 of the night. Scores tied at 11.
I did not see the call. Did he call travel?
Uh-huh.
Okay, did not see it.
Number 10, Joey Rowland, back into the game.
.136 remaining in this first half, 11-11.
Oh, that was close. Yeah.
Turnover for the Sparkplugs.
And again,
That's kind of an unforced turnover, really, in a sense that
right, but that's due to Greenfield and a little sometimes token pressure.
Sean Street for 3. And that's his 5th point on the night.
Kind of a peculiar looking shot, but it goes in.
Sean Street, a 6-foot junior with 5 points for the Cougars. That's going to send Carson Harrison to the line, I believe. Foul with Sean Street, his 2nd. That's 1-on-1.
Carson Harrison at the line shooting bonus for the Plug.
Carson Harrison at the line for the Sparkplugs. Misses the free throw.
Coach calling out a special play, Bethel. Looks like a little shuffle.
Oh. 3-point shot. Adam Lester,
Ooh, wow.
his
I
5th
think that
point.
might be, that was a good call.
Dylan Knowles returns. 14.4 seconds left in the half. Greenfield now with a 6-point lead. Largest of the night, 17-11.
That's just really good hustle, Tom.
That's a field goal by Gavin Robertson. A good hustle play, as you mentioned. And we'll be right back with your halftime scoring.
This coming Tuesday, the 15th, the girls varsity basketball team will host Heron. At 6 p.m. right here in Morris Pollard Gymnasium.
Once again, this is Tom Smith back with Ron Probst at Morris Pollard Gymnasium. A low-scoring affair the first half of the game between Greenfield Central and our Speedway Sparkplugs. Greenfield Central with a late rush. It was an 11-11 tie, and they scored the last 8 points of the first half. They had 4 different people that scored. Gavin Robertson with 5, Rashawn Street with 5, Adam Lester with 5, and Dylan Knowles with 4. For the Sparkplugs, they had 3 different scorers. Jacob Wachter scored the first 4 points for the Plugs. Nate Metallic scored the next 5 for the Plugs, and Drew Valentine scored the final basket for the Sparkplugs. As you mentioned in the first half, Coach, there were turnovers. It was kind of sloppy at times, but I attribute the score more to better defense than the sloppiness of the game with turnovers. I think the defense has had a bigger part in why the score is what it is.
I made reference that it looked like a chess match. Well, I think somebody's kind of knocked the chessboard over because the pieces are all over. From our stand, but it's fun to. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm really enjoying watching both teams play. It's not pretty, but they're playing hard. I think our success, if we're going to change something, no matter what zone defense they're playing, we need to do 2 things. Actually 3. We need to get some easier, quick shots off of fast breaks if we can. That's one way to beat a zone. Get down there before it gets set up, or maybe not maybe a secondary break. Second of all, you got to get the ball in the middle of the floor once in a while. And thirdly, I keep harping on this, but that short corner is a gold mine against any zone defense, because once it gets there, that's very difficult cover, and you can get the ball back out to the perimeter and get some great shots. So those are the 3 things I'm going to be looking for offensively from Speedway.
One of the things that I used to teach back when I was a varsity coach, you got the ball to the high post, opposite diagonal. Look at low from the side of the floor, the opposite side of the floor it came in from, which is your short corner that you're talking about.
And you can work on this against the JV in practice, but it's not the same as when you go against a varsity team.
Foul is on Joey Rowland, his second. There's 2 shots for Drew Valentine.
Good way to start the half.
Valentine hits the first free throw. First made free throw by the Sparkplugs so far as a team. Misses the second one, so the Sparkplugs are 1 for 4 from the free throw line so far. Crossover dribble by Knowles, shot in the corner, no good. Reese Walker comes up with the ball. Got a 4 on 3. And Drew Valentine fouled again. Foul on Gavin Robertson, his second foul. Drew Valentine will be back at the line again for 2. There you go. Hits the first. Misses the second. (19-13). Sparkplugs trail by 6. Short jump shot by Adam Lester, no good. Carissa Harrison takes it all the way to the basket for his first points of the night.
That's 3 possessions for us, and every one of them was a fast break with 2 trips to the line, and then Carson Harrison stuck it right there. Nice move.
Nice reverse layup by Gavin Robertson for his 7th point. 21-15.
I'd go right back to him, Tom.
You know, one thing our post player has to do, no matter who it is get his hands down where you want the ball thrown to. Give him a target to throw it to, like you were talking.
Yeah, you got to really work for and want the ball in the post area.
That's going to be a foul on 24. Will Van Doon, excuse me. Jacob Walker will go to the line. He's going to have 2 shots. Hits the first. Sean Street back in the game for the Cougars. Hits the second. 21-17, 4:50 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Timeout taken by Greenfield Central.
Sometimes as a coach, you just know what's going on the floor is going nowhere. And I think that's what the Greenfield Central coach felt right there. That was a very poor possession. A lot of dribbling. And I think we actually talked about this the one game, but the one stat is absolutely difficult to me to believe. It's still the year when Golden State Thompson scores 56, 57 points and took 11 dribbles. I mean, to me, that's the epitome of great offensive play. I mean, it's just, and not just him, but people getting the ball where he can score.
And get it open off screens and somebody getting you the ball when you are.
Yeah.
But that is a phenomenal.
Oh, Bobby Knight always said, and he obviously was a very good X and O coach, but when you dribble the ball, it should be to improve your passing angle or to take the ball in the basket. And that's really the only time that you should be putting the ball on the floor. Kind of hard to argue with his success and the offenses that he ran.
Another foul on Reese Walker, his 2nd.
Foul on Reese Walker.
Carson Harrison hustles in, gets the loose ball rebound. Right there, Nate Metallic's got to get his hands at. Got it there.
Still,
Good shot, just didn't fall.
Good things will happen if we do that more consistently here in the last quarter and a half.
Once again, it's easier for
Oh, wow, that's a good look.
Sean Street for 2, his 7th point. Greenfield Central back to a 6-point lead. Drew Valentine with the short jumper. I think on the boards particularly, Speedway's getting outworked.
They are.
Right now.
Speedway number 30, Keith Metallic. Basket good. The line 23 on the line.
Adam Lester with a good field goal, a chance for the old-fashioned 3-point play, and he does it. Foul on Drew Metallic. They've opened Greenfield Central now with a 9-point lead.
And you're correct. They're working the boards a little bit harder than what we are right now. Good pass. Good
Nice
pass.
pass
Good
from Reese Walker to 22, Jacob Wachter. And that's Wachter's 8th point on the night. Turnover by the Cougars. Sparkplugs get the ball back, 26-19, 2:02 remaining in this third quarter.
The Greenfield under pressure. Sometimes it's token pressure. Sometimes they pick up a little bit higher.
You know, we've had 3 shots inside the lane this quarter and haven't hit one yet. Valentine with 1, Metallic with 1, and that time with Reese Walker with 1. Stepped on the line.
He might have stepped on the line twice on the sideline, but he did there. You know, that brings up a point I heard a coach mention one time. As a player, try to imagine a lane a foot away from the line. Don't even get yourself close to that to where that can be called. And sometimes that's impossible to avoid, but try to give yourself a good distance so there's not even a question of whether or not you're on the line.
Still got to get the ball at the high post.
Yes.
Reese Walker lays it off for Jacob Wachter, misses the layup. Reese Walker on the rebound. Foul is on number 4. That's Street's 3rd foul. Carson Harrison for 3 from the corner. Coach, we mentioned it many times that when you don't shoot the ball well, it exposes things, and when you do shoot it well, it covers a multitude of sins, as we have said
A prime example.
numerous times. But
Prime
we've had
example.
some 3-point shots. We've had some shots in the lane this half and haven't hit any of them.
Purdue Boilermakers at home many times can shoot the lights out, and right now on the road they're not a very good shooting team. So sometimes you got to find other ways to score.
Jackson Finley on the foul.
Jackson Finley, number 5, with the foul on the play. Nate Metallic, a little short jumper, no good. Valentine, no good on the shot. And Carson Harrison
okay.
going to pick up that foul, I believe. Greenfield's ball out of bounds. I don't know what the shooting percentage is this quarter, but we've had 2 field goals.
Wow.
Drew Valentine for 3, no good. Adam Lester at the buzzer with 3. 29-19, a 10-point lead.
I thought early in that quarter, I thought we were doing some things that were going to give us better opportunities to score. Like as I said, the first 3 times we had the ball were breaks. We got fouled twice on fast breaks, and the 3rd time I think we scored. We got the ball to the area where I think is the most beneficial several times, and we moved the ball, as you said, reverse it to the other side. But then we got away from that the last 4 minutes of the quarter, and we never got back to it. Okay, this is one of those games where a 10-point lead is about like a 20-point lead in a normal scoring game. For Speedway to come back and win this game, some things will have to change. We're going to have to get a run. We have had no runs in this game at all. But to their credit, Greenfield doesn't allow you to get those runs. I mean, I am really impressed with their size, how hard they work on the offensive boards. And those are motivational plays. Those are, sacks in football, hustle plays, really. They've had several of those. I'm impressed.
Nate Metallic for 3, no good.
We had Carson Harrison in the post that time. That's the adjustment it looks like we made at the end of the quarter.
So 10-point deficit, 29-19. Lester, the leading scorer in the game for the Cougars with 11. Travel by Gavin Robertson.
See, now they're picking their press up a little bit deeper than what they were earlier. Another foul.
Got a foul again on Jackson Finley, his 2nd.
Those are the fouls that drive coaches nuts, the ones that are 60 feet from the basket. Reverse it. Roll, good roll, good basket.
Nice pass from Jacob Wachter to Nate Metallic for the field goal. The foul is on number 3, his first, Dylan Knowles. So Metallic with the chance to get a 3-point play. Back in the game for the Cougars, Rashawn Street, number 4. Sean has 7 points on the game. Gavin Robinson with 7 as well for the Cougars. Metallic hits the field goal, cuts the lead to 7. Dylan Knowles with a dribble. Almost stolen by Drew Valentine. A foul on Reese Walker, that's his 3rd foul.
Tough angle.
Adam Lester with his 13th point on the night. Bad pass by the Sparkplugs. Leads to a steal by the Cougars. 9-point lead. Good strong rebound by Nate Metallic.
You know, these are the kind of games where I know teams aren't going to necessarily change their style of play, but these are the kind of games where other teams are going to be looking at the film of this and saying, you know what, Plugs are having a hard time attacking these zones.
That's twice Drew Valentine has hit the side of the backboard on a shot from the corner. 3-point shot attempt. Drew with 4 points on the game.
Hey, Greenfield Central runs some nice sets, some nice special plays. They're not getting a lot of baskets out of them, but they are getting a court spread, and that's why that score came. I believe that's his fourth foul.
And that'll be his fourth. Drew Valentine will go to the line for the Sparkplugs. Chance to close the gap. They trail by 11.
One of those nights, Tom. But we still have time. Another offensive rebound.
Gavin Robertson returns.
Sparkplugs have gone with their starting lineup, all with the exception of, we got a foul against, I believe, number 3. Dylan Knowles. Turnover will be the Sparkplugs ball. I believe with the exception of Evan Owens and Cale Bennett, who were in just a little bit that first half. Sparkplug starters have gone the whole way.
Yeah. Wow. A little reminiscent of the Beech Grove game last weekend. I had to go underneath the basket after the game was over to make sure there wasn't a lid up there.
Right. Even though there's a limited number of fans at the game, the Greenfield fans are quite animated over the last call.
Good pass. Wow, just cannot. However, we're going to be in double bonus from here on out.
That foul on Gavin Robertson, his third. And sometimes, and we're in one obviously now, you get in a funk where you think you can't hit anything, and we've missed shots around the basket. We've missed a small number of three-point shot attempts. Free throws tonight have been not very good. Sean Street with a layup. And it's now a 12-point lead with 4:17 to go in the game. Body language of the Sparkplugs isn't very good.
Now,
Walking over to the bench, and I know they've all got to be frustrated. They don't have anybody who has been on fire. They need to find somebody that can. You remember the JV game was a game where the Sparkplugs JV team was behind. I don't know exactly the amount, but it was in the teens.
A lot, yeah.
And they got back, fought back, and finally got to a 1-point lead. The ball game was won, the JV game won by the Cougars.
On a 3-point shot with 1 second to go. But it was a great
1 second to go.
Great ending. Yeah, these are the moments nothing fancy you can do out there. You got to just fight through it and fight through it. There's no other way on a game like this. There's no magic formula. We're going to have to hit some shots, obviously, but it's got to keep playing.
Yeah.
And I know it's a golf term, but it's next shot. You know, you can't.
That's the most important one.
Yeah. And that said, it's a lot easier said than done for everybody.
Drew Valentine with 2. His 6th point on the night. 10-point deficit.
Plugs still have only 5 team fouls, so we say 1 to waste. I don't want to use the term waste, but
Joy Rowland with a layup. Reese Walker, the layup. Got a foul on 23. Adam Lester, his 2nd. Reese Walker will be shooting 2.
there we go.
That's Walker's first point on the night.
Good, Reese.
And the 2nd.
Very good officiating.
Gavin Robertson then clapping in front of Reese Walker. I think that's what the official's talking to him about.
But it's good officiating, preventive.
Pulled Bennett into the game for the Plugs, replacing Reese Walker. Foul is on Cale Bennett.
This is the kind of game that's not easy to officiate.
No.
It's hard play, just not easy.
And I think we're exactly right. It has been hard. It has hard play. It hasn't been pretty.
No.
But guys diving on the ball and so on and working hard at what they're doing. And Gavin Robertson with both free throws. Extends the lead back out to 12. Evan Owens in the game for the Sparkplugs.
Good steal, good steal, good.
Turnover and turn around and get a steal
Yeah.
and layup.
Greenfield bench calling out play number 1. I'm not sure that's what was supposed to happen, but
Valentine with the layup. His 6th point this quarter. 10th point on the night. Timeout taken by the Sparkplugs, 32nd timeout.
32nd timeout taken by Speedway.
It's interesting how coaches, and there's no right or wrong way, but some coaches try to space out their timeouts, save their players, sometimes get a timeout right before the end of a quarter, so you really get kind of 2 times to rest in a short period of time. And probably the wrong way to do it, where I did it, I suppose, I tried to save as many as I could for times like this when you scored and you could get a timeout and get the clock stopped. The Plugs, I think, still have a couple more timeouts.
I'm the same way. Exactly what I would, especially in a close game. It's exactly.
Nate Metallic on the short jumper, misses. Would have been a nice field goal to have there, get it down to 6. The lead is 8.
You can tell right here, Tom, by what they're doing. They're spreading it out a little bit. And they've done a great job of doing this and then getting driving lanes to the basket, getting open, wide open layups, which I think is what they're trying to do here.
Nate Metallic with the steal. Sparkplugs turn around and give it back on a turnover.
You got a minute and a half, down 8. Again, that's nice play.
Adam Lester with his 15th point on the night. It goes back to 10.
There's something I've seen a lot more in recent years is a timeout called by a team that just scored to go up 10. And I've asked several people, it'd be interesting to see what they're going to do. I mean, there'd be a really good reason for that timeout. But with the momentum going the way it was, I'm not sure that. But they did run that half-court delay there to perfection. That was, and my guess is that's what they're used to doing. Well, I remember one year, I'll tell you the year, or around the year, 82 or 83, Carnersville Spartans. Early in the year, it's just exactly how they played, and they got in the last quarter, they'd pull it out. They had a lot of talent. A lot of people didn't like it. But you know what? They stretched those leagues out and ended up winning the state championship because they worked on that and worked on it. And they were good free throw shooters. But that was a fun team. I'm old enough to remember that, and I know you are too. A lot of the people listening may not be that old, but
Connersville's had some good Phil Cox era, Crone era.
2 state championships, and
what a great gymnasium.
Oh, awesome. Plugs won a regional there. One of my favorite gyms, Spartan Bowl.
Yes.
Which actually the Cougars play down there, I think, next week.
Carson Harrison with a foul.
Connersville had the Heineman twins. Mike Heineman played at Wisconsin, and his brother Chris played at Davison. And they beat Anderson, a North Central Conference team, in the final game of the state. Troy Lewis missed a game-winning shot.
Dylan Knowles takes the first of his free throws. And the second. Lead is 12. The Plugs are going to go to 2-3 on the year. Cougars will go to 3-2. Again, as we mentioned early in the game, Greenfield Central, a 4A school. And a great conference.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yes.
Next week, Speedway will play Cecina on Friday night, and Greenwood, who I believe is a 4A school.
Yes.
on Saturday night here at home. So the next game we'll be doing at home will be here. We'll be against Greenwood on Saturday night. And that's the next game we'll be bringing to you here on Speedway Community TV.
Greenwood, another one of those schools that has been on our schedule for decades. I don't think we ever got them off the schedule. We were obviously in the Mid-State Conference for many years with them. And even when we went to the West Central and conference we're in now, I think we've always kept Greenwood. And it's always been competitive games. It's a school that's never had a lot of big players, but they have always been very well coached. I would say very similar to Greenfield.
Greenfield will inbound the ball.
You know, some people wonder, okay, we're down 10 with 20 seconds to go. Why do we do this? Well, there might be a game down the line where we're down 6 points or 5 points in the same situation, and you want to practice quick fouls, maybe a quick shot.
Correction, 1-1. Reese Walker back at the game.
Dylan Knowles at the free throw line.
Good free throw shooting team.
Hits the first.
You know, they're going to be outmanned in a lot of games with the schedule they have, but they're kind of like us. I don't think they're going to be outworked.
4 for 4, 5 for 5 on the night from the free throw line. That completes the ball game. The final score: Greenfield Central Cougars 45, your Speedway Sparkplugs 35. We'll be right back with the wrap-up and an interview with Coach Charles Bennett. We are back here at the conclusion of the Greenfield Central Speedway game tonight. Greenfield Central came out on top with a score of 45-35 in a low-scoring affair, due in part to good defenses and due in part to poor shooting. I guess the combination of the two led to the low scoring, both teams being held under their season average for scoring. First of all, for Greenfield Central, Gavin Robertson had 9 points. Dylan Knowles had 8. Rashawn Street had 9, Joey Rowland with 2. Leading scorer tonight for the Cougars was Adam Lester with 15. Will Van Doon had 2 to round out their total of 45. For the Sparkplugs, Carson Harrison, 2 points tonight. Jacob Wachter with 8, Reese Walker with 2, Nate Metallic with 9, and Drew Valentine with 14 for their total of 35. Coach, final thoughts before we talk to Coach Bennett.
Well, I think what you do here is you go back and you look at the film and whether they were playing 3-2 or 2-3, and you see what we could do better against both of those. I think we got a lot of times did not get spacing. I think we're, clumped together. But it's a learning. It could be serve as a big learning tool. But we need to do that. As far as hitting shots, we didn't hit them. It was obvious. But take that aside, we can learn about how to attack zones better. We're going to have to, because we'll see some more zones because secrets get out like this. Coaches are among the biggest not gossipers, but they share thoughts.
Share information.
Absolutely. And now with a lot of these games on TV, it's easy to film them. But we will. Our kids will do that, and they'll be a better team because of that.
And I think this is a game, as you said, that Coach Bennett will go back and look and see where the creases are. Just from sitting up high here, one of them, obviously, we've got to get the ball inside more.
Yeah.
We got it in there, as I mentioned, and after we talked about that,
and
3 or 4 times and missed little short shots.
And when you do get inside, it doesn't, some people think, well, what are you going to do with it because you're still outmanned. When you have the ball inside, it leads to a lot of area, a lot of lanes to pass the ball, no matter how big you are.
So that we don't forget tonight, we'd like to thank our crew here at Speedway Community TV. Tonight, our helpers on the cameras, Jeff Smith and Charlie Pierce, and our head man with all the brains behind this outfit is Brian Pierce, and we'd like to thank them for making it possible to bring you these games for those of you in Greenfield, as well as Speedway viewers. In just a moment, we'll be right back with an interview with Coach Charles Bennett. You want to go, Pro? Tom Smith back here with varsity basketball coach Charles Bennett. Get a comment from you first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the game.
Well, take a deep breath. Fortunately for us, we'll have practice on Monday at 3:37. Got to look forward to a conference game next Friday against Cecina, and then home against Greenwood, and then we'll be at Christmas break. To say that we're disappointed would be probably an understatement. It was a total, I thought, 180-degree turnaround from last night's game. I didn't think we were quite as tough as we were last night. And then also, too, offensively, we knew we were going to have to attack their zone. And we'd showed them film and wanted to get the ball in the high post. And we just couldn't get guys to flash in there. So, you tack it inside out. I know a lot of people would point to our shooting percentage, 1 of 15 from behind the arc, but we were 8 of 17 in the second half inside the arc. Nate Metallic got inside, did some nice job. He didn't finish some shots. We had some shots. I think it was 7-7 in the first half, and we had Reese Walker made it to the basket, didn't finish. Carson Harrison made it to the basket, didn't finish. Some drills that we do every day with finishing drills that we just didn't get done. But our kids are good kids. It was an off night, and sometimes that's going to happen in life, and sometimes it happens in basketball. It was unfortunate that it had to happen after such a good win last night, but I'm looking forward personally to the challenge on Monday, get back in, prepare for 4 days, and then like I said, we go to Cecina. It's going to be a triple header there, freshman, JV, varsity for conference, and then come back home and play Greenwood, another 4A school. It's undefeated right now that, try to get a good feel going into the Christmas break. So, sorry, I didn't mean to ramble.
No. You just hit the nail on the head of everything we talked about up here about getting the ball inside and going inside and back out sometimes. And when the players watch the tape of the game, they'll see that that's where holes were. Inside, not that, and I even alluded to Mr. Pollard and said that he felt like when you got the ball free throw line on down to the basket, you ought to score somewhere between 60 and 75% of the time. Somebody should, not necessarily the guy that receives the pass in there, but shooting, and we've talked before about a multitude of sins get covered up by good shooting, and tonight seemed like people kind of lost belief that anybody could score. I mean, you just had a long dry spell with shots that were, some of them inside the lane, you had all a variety of shots and they didn't go in. And there's 3 of us up here that are former present coach and 2 former coaches that know how frustrating that is when it feels like nothing we're doing offensively goes right. Yeah. Greenfield Central, we talked about, is in a tough conference. They played hard, we played hard. If anybody would have said that the winning team would score 45 points, you'd have been glad, you'd have thought that wasn't going to happen, but it does. And as you said, you move on to the next game, and that's Cecina next Friday. Next Saturday, we will be back here with a game against the Greenwood Woodmen. Coach, good luck next Friday. Grab a win there at Cecina, a conference game, and come home and grab another one, and the turkey and the food will taste better at Christmas time.
Yeah, and I do want to say one other thing. I know last night, Mr. Probst asked me about, how we got through the whole COVID thing, and I mentioned Mr. Avery and his hard work, but I also I was thinking about this, 2 people. One, our school nurse, Kenna Allison. I've gone to her multiple times because she's obviously knows the system and is in charge of when we have to contact trace at school, but then also John Disney, our assistant superintendent, who runs our whole attendance and COVID protocols for the entire district. And so those 2 people I've leaned on as well, too, just to get us through that time. But again, a blessing to be out here, even though it wasn't the result we desired. But, again, sun's going to come up tomorrow. We'll get after it on Monday and be ready to go.
Well, good. And we're glad you're here as Speedway High School's coach. So we will be back again. Ron Probst, on behalf of Ron Probst, myself, Tom Smith, and varsity coach Charles Bennett. Once again, Jeff Smith, Charlie Pierce, and Brian Pierce, the 3 people that made this possible for the game to be sent to you tonight. We thank them as well. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.